In honor of Women's History Month, we've been talking with female leaders in sports, politics, business, and entertainment. And this morning, we are focusing on
every Friday during Women's History Month.
All month long, we've been celebrating Women's History Month by talking with female leaders in sports, politics, business, and entertainment. And this
my black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody move.
We are in a state of emergency.
Prejudice. Wrote a song about it? Like to hear it? Here it go. Free your mind.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Everybody who is black and interested in black people, let us sit down and find out how we can get together in one direction against one enemy and accomplish this job overnight. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Jimmy that if black people in Harlem just stop saying hello and instead say salam alaikum, he said the whole thing will change. All you got to do is say salam alaikum. Let's say it slow. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
We are in a state of emergency.
Prejudice. Wrote a song about it? Like to hear it? Here it go. Free your mind.
My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody.
We are in a state of emergency.
Prejudice. Wrote a song about it? Like to hear it? Here it go. Free your mind.
Excuse me, it's video day, I guess, and my throat is a little sore, but I want to talk to us, and like I say, thank you so much for joining me, and I want to get through this last video. Okay. The topic of this particular video is something that I call African fantasy, Africanized fantasy. What exactly is Africanized fantasy? Some of you call or know Africanized fantasy as black conscious. I put a different label on black conscious to give it the real description that it deserves. Because black conscious Black conscious, excuse me, I had somebody waving at me. Black conscious is fiction. It is not our reality. And it has become a problem to us, perhaps even worse than being Europeanized or whitewashed in the mind. What do you mean by that? In the beginning of black struggle, coming from a slave mentality, to learn about yourself, or what you think is yourself, is a wonderful thing. Because we have been programmed to be like Caucasian people. And we are not Caucasian people. We are the children of those who were kidnapped, and all our ways, our God, our religion, our culture, our language, all those things was taken from us. The only thing that we kind of know is that we were the descendants of those captured from this continent called Africa. That's what we all can agree. And since the beginning of what we call black struggle or Africanist, however you want to call it, that's a wonderful thing to try to learn about where you come from and who you are. The problem in this with us who are the descendants of slaves born in America, the problem with this is we know that we came from this continent of Africa, but we don't know what people we come from. We could have came from anybody. There are countless tribes and cultures and people in that region. Chances are we were captured from the eastern part of the continent. The chances of we being the descendants of those from North Africa or East Africa or Southern Africa, the chances are is I think I got my directions wrong. Eastern Africa, we were captured from Western Africa, correct? Yeah, that would be West. African, the Western Africa, not the Eastern. I get my directions. Anyway, you know where I'm coming from with this. Because y'all very smart. Y'all very historical. Y'all experts on history now. You just woke up from out of 400 years of slavery, and now all of a sudden everybody in the streets is historical. Y'all historians. How you going to be a historian when you cannot prove where we are descendants from? This is where the fantasy and the fiction comes from. So we began to adopt and tell these stories that we are the children of kings and queens, the royalty of Africa. We really, and then we say that we are the children of Egyptians and Moors and all, but there is no connection. If there was a true connection to these things, then even by word of mouth, how come this has not been translated or passed down to our people? It's not been told. The only thing that we really know of is that we are descendants of slaves. That we know. All these other things is fiction and fantasy. Because then when they do seek out Africa, they seek out only positive things. Oh, we are the kings and the queens and the gods and the goddesses and all that kind of stuff. Kings and queens have servants. There is a lower class. There is a lower class under the kings and the queens. Chances are we are the descendants of the lower class because we became the captured to the captured. Africans, and this is so, Africans participated in the slave trade. If these Africans did not participate in the slave trade because they was at war and hated one another, the Europeans could not have taken advantage of this and created this system of slavery that we know of as commercial slavery. Could not have happened. These Africans gave the Europeans the original breeding stock because this African hated that African, so they sold the prisoners of war, or traded rather. Who these persons are, I don't know. We don't know. Y'all the historians, so why don't y'all tell us who were the Africans that was always trading and giving these European slaves? Y'all don't never come up with these answers. It's a whole lot of questions in this that y'all don't answer. Y'all get caught up on gods and goddesses and all this African spirituality stuff, and we were so spiritual. What is so spiritual about cannibalism? Because a lot of Africans, they practice cannibalism. What is so spiritual about some of these Africans practicing human sacrifice, sacrificing virgins, or they use these methods to sew up a woman's vagina. If you're going to talk about Africa, then you must accept Africa not only in so-called glory, but you must accept Africa in the negativity that was Africa also. We love to talk about Shaka Zulu. He was a great warrior. Who was he really killing? He was killing his own people, other black folks, other Africans. That's how the Zulu nation expanded. That's how Egypt expanded. Egypt expanded by killing other Africans, other dark people. That's how they expanded. That's how y'all the historians, but y'all don't want to talk about stuff like that. You don't want to talk about how black folks was involved in their own enslavement, the cause of it, that began the process. The European was not powerful enough to do that. They had to have African help. So you caught up in Africanized fantasy. Black conscience is nothing but fiction and fantasy thinking. And it's a whole lot of it out of there. I'm black conscious. Then you conscious, okay, you black conscious of being black. African people, we never called ourselves black. The white man gave us color. He made us black. So you conscious of being black. So what are you actually conscious of? Then you turn around to Africa. Then Africa, that continent, was renamed by the European. And everything that is in Africa, Africa is a conquered continent. All those people there have been at one time under the foot or under the jurisdiction of Europeans. Africans have mixed their original religious teachings and cultures with Europeans. There is nothing pure about Africa no more. You want to go back to a place that has been stitched up by the ultimate skunk. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the white man is the devil, the skunk of the planet Earth. What happens when a skunk sprays you? The skunk can be gone, but you still stink. That's what has happened in Africa. It is a land full of stench. It is not original no more. It is not what you think that it is. And even if it was not perfect. There has to be a pure change. And if you really was conscious, if you really was filled with black conscience, then you know it's not about color. Because if you was really conscious, you know that this color and being African came from the oppressor. Nobody was into that. That's a mentality that they put on us, black conscious. And so in Africa, the only thing you can think about is the kings and the queens. But what about those Africans that was killing other blacks wholesale? You don't talk about that. And those blacks that enslaved blacks. Because they didn't trip off of it. It was about my culture, my way of doing things. And if you wasn't about my way of doing things, then I'll kill your ass. And when I kill your ass, then my territory expands. Fighting over resources. So now, and black conscience reflects Africa. That's all you think about. Africa this, Africa. Africa is a divided continent filled with those, they have no black unity. They have no African unity. And those with black conscience do the same thing. You don't see black unity or African unity among those with black conscience. Just like Africa. And Africa is filled with the stench and the thinking process of the oppressor. And that's those with black conscience have the same mentality as the oppressor. Same thing. That's why they cannot unify with nobody. That's why they can't get along with each other. Because they've been sprayed and continue the mentality given to us by the ultimate skunk. And that's why y'all smell. And that's why you use profanity. And that's why y'all talk about you use profanity, because profanity is a dirty, vile, and nasty, filthy language. But of course, that's good and is acceptable by those who are foul and filthy also. That's why you don't find no problem with calling black people niggas and cussing at them and MF this and blase, because you filthy and dirty and you're low down, pretending to be of black conscience, but actually it is Africanized fantasy. You're living in a fantasy world, and you go on YouTube hollering about kill the white man this and the white folks this, and you don't love nobody. Because if you love Africa, if you love black people, then you will unite with your own, but you find every excuse in the world to do your own damn thing. You're doing your own damn thing. You're not united with Africa or nobody in America. You're doing your own damn thing, and you're hiding behind black conscience. Well, I'm here to let people know that black conscience ain't nothing but Africanized fantasy. Black power people, hotep people, nothing but Africanized fantasy. The illusion of black revolution, the illusion of black liberation, black nationalism. They have their own agendas, just like all the different countries in Africa. They doing their own thing, just like y'all doing your own thing. If they decided, when you decide to unify yourself, if you are sincere, that's the only way you're going to get the change that you claim that you want. As long as you doing your own thing, this African nation doing their own thing, so-and-so doing their own thing. Oh, let me take a drink. With all the mineral wealth, all the material things that Africa has, they should not be in the situation that they are in. But because everybody that's doing their own thing, they won't share their resources with one another, then they continue to suffer. And they have, above all, they all carry the stench of the European, the oppressor. So everybody doing their own thing. They're not looking at, we need to come together so that we can benefit the whole. And we all rise. This clique want to be better than the other blacks. The same thing. If it ain't racism, it's classism. Somebody always want to be better than somebody else. Y'all sick. That's why you don't understand humanitarianism. Is that a word? Those who love humanity don't see color. Because instead of the white man being in charge, you want your nigga black ass to be in charge. That ain't happening. Those days are over. This thing about color is over. Justice, if you want justice, justice has no color. If you're seeking equality and freedom, that has no color. And as long as your mindset is focused on color, you'll always be a slave. Either a slave under white folks or a slave to your damn self. Because somebody got to be special. Somebody got to be better. It's about us. That's over. If the human being is going to continue to exist in this world, then we must learn how to break this grip of color and learn what is best for the human being. Because if we continue on this path that we're going on right now, the human being is on the path to self-destruction and extinction, and maybe that's good, because with this mindset, you don't deserve life no more. You deserve to go out of existence, black, white, red, yellow. If we continue this type of mentality, you don't deserve, you're too damn smart to be acting this way. And you don't want to grow up and mature your mind. So maybe it is best that you are totally 100% destroyed. That's why in the scriptures, the Bible and Quran and many other places, they talk about the end of the world not for the animals and the earth, the end of human existence. And maybe that's a good thing. Y'all need to make up your mind what you want. It is color that put us in this position. Tribalism, nationalism, when it should be about what is best for humanity. And then if we are the intelligent life, then we should look out for other life. We should make sure that the deers are all right, that the bears are all right, the alligators. And we should make sure that this planet is kept in the best of shape. And from this planet, we can evolve to go outside into the universe, because we came from out. We were created from that which is limitless. But when we deal with color, we become limited. And we become caged up. And we cannot reach our potential as human beings. And if you can't reach your potential as human beings, you damn sure can't be God. You must first be human being. Right now, your mentality, you're living and you're crawling on your all fours. Worse, lower than the beasts of the field. It's up to you. And you, we who are the descendants of slaves, you are in a position, should you take advantage of it, you can be the catalyst, the beginning of this great change that is needed so that we can obtain and attain the human being status and go head on into God. Not just black people, not being conscious of some color, but being conscious that we are human beings and we deserve better than the suffering that we have placed on ourselves voluntarily. And that's sad. There's no creature on this planet that's going to bring bad things to themselves. You can't control earthquakes and volcanoes and things. Well, actually, maybe you can. We, the human being, have the mentality. We can understand how to create and maybe control those things. That gives you a sign of your great potential. You're higher, your intelligence is greater than an animal. So we need to break these bonds of Africanized fantasy. Y'all, what y'all call black conscious. Break that color and become human beings. That's what put us in the sad position that we're in. Fighting over religion and color and class. We need to break those bounds. You can do it. We are the people designated for that job, because if we can do it, the rest of humanity will fall in place. I'm telling you. So if you're going to be of black conscience, then look at it and view it in a real sense and not fantasy and fictionalized. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Thank you for listening. Jot down your comments. Let's talk about it. You just don't know how special you are. Stop being so hateful and angry and begin to let your mind think. And once your mind begin to think, you can begin to see the things that I see and begin to comprehend those things that's always been in front of our face, but because of hatred and anger and jealousy and envy and all these different things, we were blind to. Become a human being, y'all. You're more than black. You're more than African. You're universal. You're limitless. You are God if you understand and put it in this right context.
We are in a state of emergency.
Prejudice. Wrote a song about it? Like to hear it? Here it go. Free your mind.